Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
Powerhouse Paranormal
Topics with the umpires
of the unexplained Sheena
metal.
That's right. It's Haunted Playground right here on LA Talk Radio. For more info on the show, hauntedplayground.com, latalkradio.com. I'm your host, Sheena Metal, and I'm at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com, and I am raising yourvibration.com. Those are the two links for my spiritual practice. I'm also the founder of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity. We're at IamRaisingTheVibration.com and at RaisingTheVibration.org. That's our nonprofit hub. Our beautiful site has been built and is getting more beautiful by the day. And what else, my friends? What else? I'm everywhere on social media at Sheena Metal, and here on Haunted Playground pretty much every week we do a format I like to call Light Workers Unite, where I get together some other wonderful light workers, and we get together and we do psychic readings, healing, spiritual counseling, whatever you've got, you want, that's what we do. So we're going to be doing all today, and if you want to get on live with me for a reading, all you have to do is send me a text message. Here's my phone, and I always hold up my phone, not because I want to show off my 2-year-old iPhone SE, but because I want you all to know that it goes right to my phone, and it's not like it's going to some processing bank where 75 people are going to have your number. Just me. So, and you can trust me with your number sometimes. 818-437-0886. Yes, that's my private cell number, and I just gave it out on the air because I'm insane. Readings, healing, spiritual counseling, you tell me what you need, and that's what we will do. My guest today is the wonderful Rebecca Haywood. Alex May was supposed to be with me today, but he had an emergency healing he had to go up north and do. And Rebecca, of course, is I'm her co-host on the amazing Shameless Feminine show, that Shameless Feminine Speaks, that happens here at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. It's a brand new show we just started last week, and you can find us on Facebook at Shameless Feminine Speaks, and you can find last week's broadcast everywhere on my Facebook, on her Facebook, on LA Talk Radio's Facebook, which is where we're coming to you live right now. And slowly but surely, I will get this link around to all of my Facebook links. And then everybody will know that we're live on Haunted Playground right now. So Rebecca's coming with us a little late because she's filling in. I kind of threw this at her at the last minute, and she's like a super good sport. And I love that about her. So let's get some people rolling here. Let's get somebody on the air. Let's do a reading. I thought I was going to be doing this all by myself today, which I'm not used to doing, but I can if need be. I can just sit here with y'all. I do it on Monday nights on my Raising the Vibration show. We do a call-in show. Last night we talked about who thinks they have untapped psychic abilities, and it was a great show, and it's just me and callers. So I certainly can do this by myself, but because we're managing so many numbers here, it's nice for me if I have somebody else to help out, because otherwise it's a lot of me. You get to see me sort of fidgeting around and producing the show, which is probably not the most exciting thing to watch. So when I have somebody else here, I can throw it to them, then I can come back and I can throw it to me, and I can still give you readings and spiritual advice, but it's not like there's so much of a, hang on, we got to get somebody in the phone bank, because, that can happen. So, again, I'm going to be putting this link out everywhere. We're going to get Nicole on the phone first. And while we get Nicole on, I'm going to be putting the link around so people know where we are. A lot of you have gotten so great about knowing just to go to the LA Talk Radio page pretty much every time I'm on the air, which is 16 hours a week, 18 hours a week, 17 hours a week, 18 hours a week. I don't know, something like that. It's a hell of a lot of hours a week. Let's just call it a hell of a lot of hours a week. And you just know automatically to go. Like, there's people there right now. There's people already commenting, and I just got on. And so let me say, for those of you that are there, I'm going to come in a minute and talk to y'all. Well, after I get Nicole on the phone. But what do you think of my new shirt that I've never worn on the air? I've worn it to some events, but I've never worn it on the air. I think I wore it once when I do the Friday afternoons. I do a live psychic reading broadcast from my bed called I Am Raising Your Vibration, coincidentally enough. And I think I've worn it there, but I've never worn it And I wore it last year to the Embrace Your Spirit conference in Texas. But I don't think I've ever worn it on the air here. But I'm trying to recycle a different pink every week for Shameless Feminine Speaks because I'm a theme girl and I like themed things. I cried when, literally, kind of literally, when they took the themes out of a lot of the themes out of Las Vegas. I'm like, what? But I went to Las Vegas to do the King Tut Journey Down the Nile River tour in the basement of the Luxor. Don't they know that's why I came? I know. Well, Oh no, I know. So I'm all about trying. I'm going to wear a different pink shirt until I run out of pink shirts, and then I'm going to recycle. But luckily for Rebecca, I have a lot of pink shirts, so we're going to do this thing. All right, so I'm putting the link out now, and we're starting to get it out places. If you want a reading, a healing, some spiritual counseling, I'm your girl. So send me a text message, 818-437-0886, and we will get you on the air. We'll get as many people on the air as we have time for, because that's what we do here on Lightworkers Unite. So I have to change the date. I always forget. I don't know where I got the genius idea to put the date on these things, because now if I don't update the date, then everybody doesn't call in because they think it was last week. And here we go. Links are going out, my friends. Links are going out. Okay, so we're going to get Nicole on right now and do our thing with Nicole. And then if you want to get on, you just send me a text message. So the uncomfortable part of the show is over when I start trying to figure out how to get the links everywhere and get the first caller up. Now it's all cake from here. Looking forward to talking to so many of you today. And Rebecca will be here in about 15 minutes or so. So it was really nice of her to fill in, and we dig her. She's one of my most light-filled light workers, if that's possible. That's not really true because they're all super light-filled light workers. Nicole, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm fantastic. We're more worried about you than about me. I would tell you if I was more worried about me, but right now I'm not.
Oh, well, I've just been, I know it's retrograde and all,
Yeah.
but I'm just in a weird, I don't even have motivation to play with my son, get out of bed, meditate, nothing. It's it almost feels like a depression, but
Well,
I don't know what I would be depressed about.
Well, I think there is a cosmic depression. Let's start with that. Let's start with energetically. There is a cosmic depression going on in general in the world right now. So one is cosmic depression. We have 6 planets in retrograde, and including that real crotch puncher, Saturn return. So Saturn is life lessons. So Saturn return is everything that you haven't dealt with, the big life lessons the universe keeps throwing at you, and then continues to throw at you again and again and again and again and again. So that's a big one. And I think for you, that Saturn return is very much about you are not living a life that you really want to live in regards to your path, that there are other things in your life that you know you want to do and be. And you're in a transition between who you thought you had to be and who you actually are becoming. And I think during that transition, you're having a little bit of a hard time with being sort of in this place where you don't really belong where you were, and you don't yet belong where you're becoming, and you're just dealing with sort of an endless amount of frustration over that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that can make you depressed because you're like, well, why even bother? It's all ridiculous. Why go to work? I hate it. Why not your son? Because you love your son, but I think that's just a reflection of the depression. I think it's just like, why, there's so many things I want to do and I'm not doing it. I also think because you're a person who very much wants to be in service, sweetheart, that you're feeling very helpless right now at all the things going on in the world that you can't fix. And I think once you really move into a place of service, you will realize that it's totally okay to not be able to fix everything. I know I can't fix everything. You can only fix the little corner of the world for the thing that you want to fix. You can't fix everything. It's not possible. But when you're a baby light worker, and I was talking last night on Raising the Vibration to a lot of baby light workers, people who were just coming out of the closet or just thinking about coming out of the closet and not even out of the closet yet. And, you really, 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 really need to sort of slow your roll Because when you first get really excited about coming out with your gifts and talking about your gifts, it's very natural to want to like fix everything and help the world and hug the world and heal everybody. And then to become very disappointed when you realize what an overwhelming, arduous task that is and how almost nobody can do that. So I think
Yeah.
you just need to just sort of, allow what's happening to you spiritually, sweetheart. Just allow it to happen. Don't feel like you have to go out and reach out and grab your spiritual destiny, but just relax and prepare and allow it to come to you. Because as I love to say so lovingly to my clients on a regular basis, the universe doesn't give a fuck about your timeline. So, it will happen at universe's timeline and at their discretion and at their will. And that's, it's the universe's world and we just all live in it. So just relax and enjoy the journey and not be so concerned about the destination, because you're a destination girl and you get very impatient.
Yes, very impatient.
Right? But every
Oh,
day
yeah.
that you're doing the right things, even if your thing is, I get up, I go to work, I make money, I feed my son. Okay, fantastic. That's your duty for the day. Everything that you do as a light worker, it isn't all like this giant monumental, every day you're not parting the Red Sea. Some days you're just being a person. Some days I just, go see my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece, and I hug my niece, and I go to my other best friend's house for dinner, and I see her family, and I, go to my mom's house and pick up the mail, and just that's I go to, Walmart, and they tease me when I go to my house at the beach. Pretty much all I do down there is I go to Ralph's, CVS, and Walmart. But okay, I mean, that's my thing, right? I got the dry cleaner. I've got to go do my human things while I'm down there, because that allows me to then come up here and, play master wizard while I'm up here. So it's totally okay to just have a day where you're not saving the world, and every day where you're taking care of you, or even doing your super boring human tasks. That's a good day, sweetheart. So, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I feel like you just have put so much pressure on yourself around this whole, I'm a light worker, therefore my life must be A, B, and C. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's frustrating, I mean, I used to be able to communicate with at least one of my spirit guides, and now it's like I feel like I'm just completely blocked right now.
You're not. You're blocking you, sweetheart. Spirit guides never block you. So if you're being blocked, you're blocking you. And it's because you're trying to force it and not,
just let it happen.
And just let it happen. It's like any relationship. So, when you're in a relationship with a human, sometimes you get, as I said that, it sounded so strange, with a human. I didn't mean to sound like that. But when you get to a certain point in a relationship with a human and you're like, oh, how come it's been 2 months, and how come we're not here yet? Or how come we're not there yet? Or how come this isn't happening? Or how come that isn't happening? And you get all frustrated and you try to sort of force it. And that's when it feels like nothing's moving. It's the same way with universe. You can't, it's a relationship. They're opening up a new part of your life, and it's a new part of the relationship. It's like if you were best friends with somebody and you suddenly started dating. You have a certain relationship with the universe, and now you're stepping into your place as a light worker, and the relationship with them is changing, and they're getting to know you in this new thing they've bestowed upon you, and you're getting to relate to them. And by universe, I mean source, your spirit guides, your past loved ones, angels, fairies. The whole world is now getting to, the realm is now getting to know you as a different kind of person in a different vocation. So you need to give everybody time to adjust and just let it happen as it's going to happen, and let the universe guide you, sweetie, in their timeline, because they're so much bigger and so much smarter and so much older than us. And they have this all figured out. And all we have to do is just relax and be a productive part of their ant farm, because they know just what they want for us, and we're just in their ant farm. So just let it be, sweetheart. Just let yourself be.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Do you feel better?
I just don't want to. Yeah, I do. I just don't want to let my spirit guides down or let
No.
the universe down or anything like that. So I've just,
Why would you let anybody down, sweetie? You're not, you're a light worker. You're not it's not like if you don't build the railroad by Monday, thousands of people will starve.
I don't know. It's, again, I'm putting too much pressure on
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, and you're putting too much pressure on the whole thing. Becoming a light worker, it should be a beautiful, easy transition. It shouldn't be this thing that now you put more pressure on you than ever because you're doing it. It's not supposed to be about that because you need to be able to take that ease and that being comfortable in your own spiritual skin, and you need to be able to pass that on to your clients and to your students. So if you're like all kind of aggro about it, then you could do you'll pass that on to others, and that's not how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to just be like, okay, well, yesterday I I gave 25 readings to people who needed help, and today I picked up my dry cleaning and I petted the cat. Great, both days are perfect. And really be okay with the fact that being in service means, if you're a fireman and you're on duty, you're in service, right? So you're maybe on duty for like a 4-day shift, right? Every minute of the day,
Yeah.
there's not a fire. Most of the day, you should just sit around and pet the Dalmatian, and someone of the other firemen makes spaghetti. And then every once in a while, the buzzer goes off, and everybody's got to slide down the pole and go take care of a fire. Well, that's what being a light worker is like, too. Like, we're always on duty, but we're not always called to do something. Some days we're just a normal person. Some days my duty is I make the checker at Walmart and the pharmacist at CVS and the person who bags my groceries at Ralph's feel really good, and I smile and I'm super nice to them. And that's my duty for the day. So I think you want to change the world, and I think you just need to reroute your perspective, love, of what changing the world is, because changing the world is little tiny increments of everybody making it more beautiful, and not one person has to come in and carry the load to erase all the negativity from the universe in one day,
Yeah.
So
I
think
feel like that's what I need to do.
right, exactly. And that's insanity. None of us are supposed to do that. The universe doesn't want that, because you know what that's going to do, sweetheart? You're going to completely burn out. And then you're going
Okay.
to be miserable. And that's not good. And then you can't help anybody. And you have a small person to take care of.
Yeah.
So small people have to come first. Go play with your small person. That's the best way you can give back to the universe. And just
Thank
take
you
the
so
pressure off
much.
you, sweetie. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not giving yourself a break. That's the only thing you're doing wrong. Okay?
Thank you.
You bet, love.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
sending you so much love, and I love you, and I want to hear how you're doing, and you take care of you. And anybody else who's out there who's feeling the same way that Nicole is right now, yes, absolutely, all this advice is for you too, because you got to give yourself a break, folks. And being a light worker is being on duty when you're called, but it's not putting super amounts of pressure on yourself. And I do a lot of stuff. I mean, I put myself on duty a lot. A lot of my light worker friends are like, you're whack because, wow, you do 6 hours of free readings a week, and you have a myriad of clients on top of that, the paid clients. And I work at a metaphysical shop once a week. I do, 18 hours of radio. So 4 of those are readings. So 14 other hours of radio. I'm in the middle of physical therapy for my knees right now, so I'm in physical therapy, 6 hours a week at the wonderful Healing Hands in Winnetka. Please go and let them heal you. Seriously. I'll say it every time. So I've got a lot of stuff that I'm doing. But you have to make time for your human life. And you have to make time to just chill. And it took me a while to realize that, like, every day, and I know people say you shouldn't eat in front of the TV, but please, I got to get my eat and my TV in when I can. Every day for like an hour and a half or so, usually an hour, between an hour and 2 hours, depending how motivated I am, I make lunch and I watch either like one show or 2 shows or watch a movie. I take a lunch break and I turn my phone off. Sometimes towards the end, when I'm done eating, sometimes I'll do some just menial stuff on the computer that needs to be done, but I don't really communicate with people. And I work it around when I have readings, so it's a different time every day. And sometimes I realize that I have to schedule when I eat into my day because my day is so busy. But it's okay. I need to have a little time where I just decompress and I turn on a show that I like or a movie that, something I haven't seen that I want to see, and I let it sort of entertain me because I need to be not outputting all the time. And it's great. It recharges me. It's fantastic. I'm ready to go for the whole afternoon. And then at night, I do the same thing. And it's funny because I have certain TV shows that I only watch at night and some I only watch during the day based on their energy. Like some are lunch shows and some are night shows. Now, during the night shows, I'm not eating. So I usually at that time will get some work done on the computer. But it's all like easy stuff like getting back to people on Facebook or downloading some video shows so I can upload them to YouTube or uploading things to YouTube, or it's kind of rote memory stuff. But it's chill, it's relaxed, and I'm not really communicating with people. Now, I don't get me wrong. I do reading sometimes till 2:00 in the morning, but I factor some time into the night and times into the week where I just have me time that's chill. So I suggest that you do the same thing. Just some time for you, all my budding light workers out there. All right, we're going to get Eileen on with us now. If you want a live reading or a healing or some counseling or anything, just text me, 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. It's Lightworkers Unite right here on Haunted Playground. We're at lightworkersunite.com if you want to see all the past broadcasts. So much fun. I think I have everything up to like the last week or so. So there's everything from January forward is up, and all my great light workers. Let me see if I can name them all. Jenny Stewart, Pamela Beatty, Alex May, Seth Dietland, Paul Jasek, Jason McKean. The boys are easy because there's not as many. Belle Salisbury, Joy Koff. Now I've done all my out-of-town people. Rebecca Haywood, Shauna Grace, Angelica Perman. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, I hate that. Chinhee and Sunhee Park. Those are my out-of-town people, too. They're on this afternoon on the Sheena Metal Experience from 5 to 7 p.m., by the way. Patty Negri. How could I have missed Patty? I'm trying to go back and think. I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody right now. I'm always adding new people. Next week next week, I think Alex will be here from 12 to 2. And then 5 to 7 is going to be my friend Lisa O'Neill, who actually got me the gig at the metaphysical shop that I work at in Belmont Shores in Long Beach once a week. It'll be her first time here, and she's wonderful. God, did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually look at my phone because I texted them all today to try to get them all to fill in for Alex. They were all busy. So, I think I got everybody, but if I miss someone, oh my God, I'm going to facepalm so huge. All right, we're going to get Eileen on with us now, and then I might facepalm really huge when I realize I forgot somebody. I know I got all the boys. The boys are easy because there aren't that many of them. I know. I feel like I forgot somebody, and I'm going to be so upset that I did, but I don't think I did. Eileen, welcome to the show. Welcome to Lightworkers Unite. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Sheena. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really great today, especially today. I don't know. I slept great, vivid dreams. I just woke up great. I love your crystals because I use them every day.
I'm so glad that my since you mentioned them, I'm going to plug them if that's okay. Everybody, my good vibration crystals are cleansed and charged and blessed and ready for you to purchase and adopt them. And Eileen did. I now have 7 sets. I have a cleansing set, which is black tourmaline and selenite. You have that, right? I have a connecting set, which is quartz crystal, rose quartz, and amethyst quartz. You have that. I have a grounding set, which is smoky quartz. Do you have the connecting set?
Yes, and the amethyst is my vibrating, pulsing in my hand.
Yes,
it's my perfect one.
It's one of my favorites too. Then I have a grounding set, which is smoky quartz and a hematite. I do love my hematite. I wear a hematite ring all the time. An uplifting set, which is citrine and adventurine. Do you have that one too? You have the first 4, right?
Yep. I have the first 4. I just saw that you had the
I have
3
now.
new sets.
I have a healing
So-
set, which you got to get, which is lapis and malachite, and I have
Okay.
a balancing set, which is lepidolite and blue lace agate, which I'm loving that blue lace agate now. It's becoming one of my favorites. And I have an empowering set, which is red jasper and tiger's eye. So,
Nice.
oh my
Tiger's Eye, I've heard of
Woo!
being very helpful.
So if you get the entire set, then you can become cleansed, connected, grounded, uplifted, healed, balanced, and empowered. I mean, that just makes me so happy just thinking about that.
that
about
does.
people
That's
getting that kind of
all
healing.
we want to have in our life, all that together, It
Yes.
just makes you more joyous, more joyous.
Yes, exactly.
And can I give you another compliment on the air?
Please.
I'm really trying to remember, but you had a guest that was talking about communicating with the angels and or the archangels, and I don't know if it was your Saturday night
Oh yeah. It's
at the
Saturday-
church,
Yeah, Saturday
or
Spiritual.
was it a guest there?
It could have been Shauna Grace in both places because she's been here and she spoke Saturday. I'm a pastor at the Founders MCC Church, and I'm their New Age pastor. And once a month, I do a service called Saturday Night Spiritual. That's what Eileen's talking about. And Shauna was one of my speakers. Darby Hinton, Shauna, Rebecca, and then Keith and Alejandro, who are pastors from my church, were all my speakers on Saturday. And Shauna does specialize in a lot of angel communication and angel things. So she did talk about archangels both Saturday, and she was also with me here a couple weeks ago.
I listened to both, I think, is what it is. The reason why I'm bringing it up is I have been reading a different book about angel chatter, it said. So it's about that very same thing, learning about the archangels and communicating with them. And I've been having little signs. All of a sudden, boom, there's your guest talking exactly about that.
Isn't that nice?
To me, that's a sign.
It's exactly
Yeah.
a sign. Sure. Signs are beautiful
Yeah.
things. I mean, I think that they're not to be taken in this very heavy way. Like, oh my God, I got a sign. I mean, every once in a while you get an, oh my God, I got a sign. But normally you just get a, hey, it's a sign. And isn't a sign a fantastic thing? I think folks are too, we worry too much about the fatality of everything. Like, oh my God, it's a sign. Oh, what does it mean? I mean, sometimes it means something great. Sometimes a sign is just the universe or a spirit guide or an angel or a past loved one or a guiding spirit, which is what I like to call our past loved ones that stick around and help us out with our lives, like my mama does with me. Sometimes those are just hi. Sometimes it's just hi. Sometimes it's just, hey, you're doing a great job. Sometimes it's just, hey, I'm checking in. Do you need anything? It's not always like, you will get the key and the key will unlock the door and the secrets of the universe will be revealed. I mean, it's not always. Sometimes it's just, hey, we're just checking in. Hey, thanks for petting that dog today. Good job. It's not always like this. Like I was telling Nicole, our last caller, everything is not such an enormous deal. In between all of these heavy, crazy life lessons that we're learning, what the universe really wants is for you just to have a great life,
That makes sense. Makes sense. The only other question I had was, what do you see towards my future?
Okay.
Because I never asked that yet. So.
Yeah. Your future in which part of your life, sweetheart? There's so many things in your future flying at me right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I've done the same job for 12 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm good at it. Do I enjoy it? So I was curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you've got a whole career change happening, and I know you can feel that too.
I've been told that twice already.
Yeah, it's not just about this particular job, which will inevitably end, but it's also about, it's also really about your whole path in life is changing as you are changing. So the beginning of the change of your path has come from you changing from the inside.
True.
And now
I get that.
You're becoming such a different person, sweetheart, that you are
Yeah.
going to really change your life. So that you're just beginning to see the outward changes that are the reflections of the inward changes inside of you. But there's going to be so much more of that, sweetheart. So much
Wonderful.
more change. And I think you love that. I think you've thoroughly enjoyed what you've done for a living, but I just think you're bored.
Bingo. Exactly. Because I'm good at it. I'm great with numbers, so I'm in accounting and always have been. So to make a change is kind of, tiptoeing, like, should I or shouldn't I?
Sure,
That
of
kind
course.
of thing.
And nothing.
But like you say, what does your soul feel like it needs to do? And I'm being drawn, wanting to do something else, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think with your personality, sweetheart, you're getting drawn to doing something that is either spiritual, creative, either and or spiritual, creative, and something that has a give back aspect for the world.
I agree. Yeah, that would be lovely. Well, that's all I needed. I just love hearing, and I'm always trying to catch up on your episodes. I always enjoy them.
Thank you, sweetheart. You're catching up on a lot of stuff, right? You're going back and catching up on a lot of shows.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Even-
and I'm looking forward to tonight is your new show.
Yes, Shameless
I forget her
Feminine
name.
Speaks.
Is it with Rebecca?
Rebecca, have you seen did you see last week's of Shameless Feminine Speaks? Our premiere
yes.
episode?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
Yes, I did.
Look at you.
Yes.
Have you been to WeLightworkersUnite.com and caught up on all the Lightworkers shows on YouTube?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you can go to WeLightworkersUnite.com and you can see all the Lightworkers Unite shows, even some that you might have missed, are all up there on YouTube.
Okay.
And also all of my I Am Raising Your Vibration broadcasts from my bed are there. And a bunch of the Living with the Deads with Patty. There's a bunch of stuff up there. And more stuff is coming all the time. So youtube.com/Sheena Metal. So easy.
Perfect. Thank you, Sheena.
Thank you, my friend, for being wonderful. I appreciate you. Everybody send some light to Eileen and send some light to Nicole, and we appreciate them both calling in. And at some point, we're going to get Rebecca here, but she's doing some stuff, so we'll let her do her stuff. If you want to get on live, 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. Happy to get you on and excited to do so. And then also, please go and check out WeLightworkersUnite.com and see some of our past broadcasts. Would be wonderful. And I'm trying to see who else wanted to get on now. I had a whole bunch last night of folks, and now I've gotten so many text messages that I can't find them in my phone. This is how you know this is really my phone, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So there's one. Let's see. Okay, so this is one for this afternoon. Some people are already calling in to get readings for Lightworkers Unite during the Sheena Metal Experience tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. because it's Psychic Tuesday, my friends. And the best thing about Psychic Tuesday is there are readings all day long. How fun and how cool is that? So I'm going to go in the chat, take a minute and go in the chat room and say hi to everybody. I still have a bunch of links to put out places because we're still rocking it. So we're doing some psychic readings, spiritual counseling, and healings all today from 12 to 2 p.m. And if you want to get on, you just send me a text, 818-437-0886. It's super, super easy. So let's talk for a minute about, really what's going on energetically during all these retrogrades, because this is a really crazy time. And I think that it's interesting because last summer, we basically had the same thing. And I just don't think that we're giving ourselves enough credit and enough of a break for how rough these last 2 summers have been. And it's just been a crazy, it's really been a crazy almost 10 years. There's been so many super moons and geomagnetic storms and solar flares and all different kinds of activity in every direction. And that kind of stuff affects us every day. And there's been, floods and tornadoes and earthquakes and hurricanes and all of this stuff. We are all a part of the earth. So we feel everything that's going on the earth. And we are a part of the universe and a part of the solar system and a part of the cosmos. So all of that stuff, as it's happening, it all affects us. And in ancient times, when we didn't know anything about science, we blamed that all on, oh, God's angry, here's a hurricane. Or, oh, we're trying to fight evil, and that's why there's this solar flare. Now we know that there's science, so we chalk everything up to science. But what if the truth is a combination of those things? What if it not that God's angry? Although, let me tell you, if God saw what we were doing with this earth, and trust me, God does, I imagine God's a little pissed, because it would be like if you consider the earth like God's Airbnb. So we've come here and none of us would get our security deposit back. We have promised to leave it as we found it, and human beings have not done that as all other animals on the earth do. Human beings are the destroyers of earth. And so if I would give you a very bad tenant Yelp rating, if I was God, for what we've done here, every person, awful. But, so what if it's a combination of spiritual things that are happening and emotional things that are happening and just plain old science? And it's funny because I one time I was on this show, and this like a woo-woo psychic-y person was on. I don't even honestly remember what her name was. I could not tell you her name. If you put a gun to my head and my life depended on it. I think my mom used to say she blocked out people she didn't like and could remember their names, and maybe that's what happened. But I said something about, because, she was going off and off and off and off about, the universe is angry at us and this and that, and this is happening. And I said, you know what? Yes, all these things are spiritual and they're lessons, but it's also just science. There is science. We can't forget about science, people. We can't get so woo-woo that we completely forget about science, because then that's just ridiculous. So, and then she said, oh, you're a cyclist. And at first I thought she thought I was like a emphatic bicyclist. And I thought, well, look at me. Obviously not. Could you get me on a bike? Then I realized that was you're one of those like non-believers who thinks all weather is cyclical. Look at an almanac. Look at the years. Look at what's happened over the years with hurricanes, with tornadoes, with flooding, with earthquakes. Weather is cyclical. That is the science of it. We live in a scientific place. The universe created a three-dimensional world, and that world revolves on science. So there is science. And if you're a woo-woo person sitting there right now douching with a crystal and you don't believe there's science, here comes the big news flash, kids. There is science. End of story. So, like, for instance, I live in Los Angeles, right? We have a big whomping earthquake in the SoCal metro area about once every 20 years. So we had Sylmar in 1971. Then we had Northridge in 1994. Yes, I lived through that. It was a real hayride. Then now it's 2019 and we've had Ridgecrest. And there have been a bunch of other ones in there. There was Whittier in 1987, and there have been other ones. But every 20 years, this place, science, the earth, just shakes the living shit out of this place every 20 years. Okay. Now, when it happens, I'm glad, because I'm like, no more for 20 years. I'm cool. Now, at any minute, could the universe decide it's going to throw the 9-point something and break California off into the ocean? Well, then I have island properties. Yeah, sure, that could happen. Absolutely. But you can't discount science, and you can't discount spirituality. And until you really understand that science and spirituality are two sides of the same coin, to me, that is the definition of enlightenment. So, as we now know, I've explained that we live at the mercy of science, and now all of you are probably like, oh, she's a cyclist. Also, we live at the mercy of God. So we live at the mercy of the universe. And sometimes things happen because of spiritual, sometimes science, and things like astrology and numerology. For me, that's sort of where one meets the other. That's where science and spirituality meet each other. So all these planets in retrograde. So in the last, April, May, June, July, last 3 months, pretty much exactly 3 months. So mid-April to mid-July, we have had solar flares. We've had geothermic storms. We've had 2 wampum eclipses, one actually on a new moon, one actually on a full moon. We've had this enormous Saturn return that is lasting from April until September. Now we have 6 planets in retrograde. The Chiron, that's a real ass kicker. Mercury retrograde is real awful this time. We had an enormous full moon in Capricorn. We had a crazy new moon in Cancer. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. And if you kind of feel like this all the time, that's why. And I say this only because it's so important that you learn to give yourself a break. And I know I say this on the show all the time. I say it to all my private clients all the time. Give yourself a break, because we are putting so much pressure on ourselves. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to put so much pressure on ourselves. So, you need to understand that we're going through a lot on the earth right now. And on top of that, we're each going through a lot in our lives. And on top of that, we're each going through a lot on our spiritual paths. So we have science things we're dealing with. We have spirituality things we're dealing with. We have physical things we're dealing with. We have emotional things we're dealing with. We have, our own spiritual path. I think I'm going to sneeze on the air. Hang on. Just 4 this time. It used to be 3, then it became 4. And now I've gotten to the point where it's starting to become 5. So pretty soon it's going to be like, when I'm 80, it's going to be like 20 sneezes. All right. Rebecca's ready for me to get her on the air. So I'm just putting up my last link. The last link is going out, and I see so many of you in the chat room. And it's so great to see you all there. There I am sneezing off camera. That's embarrassing. I also noticed earlier I had like a little alfalfa thing sticking up under the headphones that I had to fix. So this is why. And I'm a one woman show here. It's just me and Ronan running the tech stuff on the other side of this wall. So there's no one to go, last looks. Oh, your hair looks like crap. We got none of that, because it's a two person operation here. Me in here and him over there. And thank God for Ronan, or you wouldn't be able to see me and you wouldn't be able to hear me. And thank God for me, because most days I push the buttons right. And hopefully I give you all some good advice and I get some good guests in here. That's my job. But sometimes my hair is a little sticky uppy, and okay, that's what you get. So really quick, before I get Rebecca on, one more time, if you want to get on for a reading, 818-437-0886. And right before I pull Rebecca in, I'm going to go over to the chat room and make sure I say hi and make sure you're all there. Do I have her in my system? Let's see. Let's look and see. I don't know if I've ever called her, if she's always been here, so she might not be in the system. Oh, I do have her. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get Rebecca on with us. She must have done it by phone with us once. I don't know. I can't remember it all. I have a really good memory, my friends, but I cannot remember it all. It's a lot. So I'm going to get Rebecca on first, and then I'm going to go in the chat room and say hi to everybody. Well, she speaks a little bit about Shameless Feminine Speaks. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Hi, darling. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. It's so good to have you here with us. Thank you for filling in. Alex had to go up north and do a healing on somebody in emergency. And believe it or not, every one of the light workers, everybody had some major thing they were doing today. Is that bizarre? That never happens.
I guess it's in the air.
But I appreciate you hanging out with me for an hour, and then I'm going to see you later tonight for Shameless Feminine Speaks. Do you want to talk a little bit about, just give people a little bit of lowdown about the show?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Well, we're live streaming every Tuesday, 7 to 8 p.m. in the swanky video studio, which I just love. And Sheena and I talk about everything under the moon. And really we'll be taking and walking any shame that we carry and walking it back to its superpower. So we'll be exploring, like I said, everything under the moon. And the show is really for all you shamelessly shameless, women, men, ladies, and misfits, ready for the feminine re-evolution. You know, that's our tagline. And as you know, Sheena, you know, this feminine re-evolution that we're all really feeling and noticing and cheering on, you know, that it's really near and dear to my heart. And that I just want to be a voice out there in the sea as we women rise, that we don't, one, leave our men behind and just merely displace the shame onto them and the power onto us, but really that we rise together with the masculine and the feminine hand in hand, both in our relationships with the world around us and also in that relationship within ourselves, where we all carry masculine and feminine energies. So yeah, I'm here for the sisters and I'm here for the brothers, that we can heal that battle between the sexes and between sisters, because as you know very well, that sisterhood wound runs deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls
So
really, will throw you under the
bringing
bus.
It back to center.
At a minute's notice, man, women will throw you under the bus. And I love my women, and I spend so much time in my life doing things for female causes and for the empowerment and the advancement of women. But I would be lying if I said that a lot of women have burned me very bad in my life, and I don't really understand the purpose of that, but it happens.
Yes. Yeah. To you and me both.
Yeah.
So,
and it just
you know,
keeps happening.
There's just it's a tough one. I mean, I have a different relationship there. I've never dated women, as you have, and so I'm sure that's a whole nother dynamic.
That's a real fun ride too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not what in many instances not what it should be. Where to me, I think if there are two women in a relationship, they should be working together. It should be a total bond. But in often cases, it's working against each other. It's that competition again. It's that, you know, I dated somebody once. Oh, now it's my dating life. I dated somebody once who was older than me. And, you know, I've dated men, women, younger, older. I date anybody. I don't care. I'm about as pansexual as the universe is long. And it was this real issue because, you know, I think, I mean, I'm going to say something now, and not out of ego, but out of truth, that I have been told that I look great for 52. And maybe this person looked a little more her age and was much older than me. And it was like a constant thing. It was a thing. Whoa, well, you blah, 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 blah. And, you know, well, you're so much younger. And it was like, first of all, it wasn't that much. And secondly, I could tell there was an issue. Now, men don't do that. Men aren't like yelling, oh, you're so much. I've dated two men that were the same amount older than me as she was. Never, ever one time came up. So I think that women automatically, it's ingrained in us to compete with each other. And then it even carries over into romantic relationships, which is exactly where it doesn't belong. It's the same thing, I think, with artists, to get off gender for a second. It's ingrained in artists as we grow up artists that there's only so many jobs and only so many of us can have them. We're terribly competitive with each other. And I have found in relationships with women and in relationships with men where we both were artists, there's been a lot of competition there. And it doesn't matter if it's that person's not your type. You're never going to go out for their thing. You know, you play drums and I play guitar, whatever the story is, it doesn't matter. I think we just innately, there is an innately in us, we have a tendency to feel pitted against one another. And I think that's a lot of what is stopping humanity from world peace, is that we're never going to come to a place where we can live peacefully with each other if we're continually pitting ourselves against each other. And that's got to stop. And, you know, and as women, we're supposed to be the mothers of the world, right? We're supposed to be the caretakers and the nurturers and the living spiritual womb that pulls this species along and helps it to grow. So how are we being a nurturing mother if we're always in a perpetual cat fight with our own kind? I just think it's counterproductive, and it's counter-evolutionary, and it's not the definition of enlightenment. And every time it happens to me with a woman, I think, wow, you know what? You just kicked equality in the crotch. I will use that C word. I was going to use the other one, Rebecca. That's how much I feel about this.
Good girl.
You have just kicked femininity in the crotch, C word, because you claim to want this equality, but you won't even allow yourself to feel simpatico with your fellow women. So what do you think men think when they look at that? They think, well, yeah, we're not giving these bitches the keys to the kingdom. They can't even get along with each other. I just think that we need to stop, and we need to really become the sisterhood that we profess to want.
Absolutely.
And we have to stop with the competition.
We touched on it in our first show last week. You know, we really talked a lot about gender and how little actually the differences between genders have to do with our biology, right?
Absolutely.
And it's more of our enculturation, our domestication.
Absolutely.
And, you know, that's been with us for a very long time, centuries. And then, of course, it's evolved, it's shifted, it's changed, but it hasn't changed that much, not really, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I really think that, you know, enlightenment, you brought up that word, enlightenment, and what is that? But it is, at least in part, to recognize ourselves as the light, right? As the light that inhabits the body rather than as the body itself. Mm-hmm. And I think that as long as we are so defined by the skin we're in, then yes, that undercurrent of competition is always going to be there between women. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it, biologically, we are programmed to be, in the human species anyway, the most attractive woman in the room, right? Kind of like the birds, right? Doing their mating dance and showing their beautiful plumes. And it's kind of the woman's job in the human species, at least according to our enculturation, to be the most beautiful.
Yes.
Right? And to be that attractant. And part of that is our biological drive to reproduce, right? To procreate. And so there is that undercurrent of competition between women. If we're not feeling the most beautiful, then we find some other thing, right? Well, then I'm more intelligent than her. Like, she must be really dumb because look how pretty she is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or like we've talked about
and
privately.
If that has anything to do with intellect.
And like you and I have talked about this privately, because Rebecca's one of my best friends, but we've never talked about this on the air. I get a lot, well, there must be something wrong with her because she's happy. I get that with happy, and I get that with successful. I get that where people assume because I'm successful that I stepped on somebody's heads to get there. Like, oh, well, she's successful. She must have, really jacked a bunch of people over to get there. Let me tell you something. If I stepped on a bunch of people's heads, I'd be a lot richer and more famous than I am. I don't believe in that, and it never occurred to me to do that. And my happiness has nothing to do with being happy at someone else's expense. I just naturally have this sort of empowerment and joy of the universe that I allow to fill my soul all the time and to elevate me and lift me up. And it was something that my mother taught me how to acquire that skill, even though she couldn't really acquire that skill for herself. And I have that skill. I have that ability to reset and to always see the good and to see the glass half full. That's why I'm happy all the time. It's work. It's work to be happy in the face of what happens to a human being on this earth. And I work very hard to stay happy. But people have this attitude like, ugh, her. Yeah, she's got to be up to something. That happiness must be masking something. It is. It is, people. It's masking more happiness. So the more you get to know me, the more happy you find. I'm sorry to disappoint. But so, yeah, and it was just talking. I had yesterday on my daily show on the Sheena Metal Experience, I had our friend Darby Hinton on, and we were talking a little bit about this. And apparently this is something he's encountered in his life too, where people get angry at you for being happy. And I think that is how are we ever going to, Rebecca, evolve and grow if we're negating people's happiness and shaming people and chastising people for being filled with joy when we profess as a species that's what we all want. Oh, I just wish I was happier. I just wish I had more joy. I just wish there was more happiness in my life. But then when there's a happy person around you, then it's like, ugh, what's her problem?
Right.
I think that's something we need to work on as a species, and I think it's something we need to work on as a gender.
Yeah, absolutely. I think underneath it, there's we're jealous or envious, right? It's envy of what they don't have themselves. And, the shame of it is that that envy ends up pushing it away, right?
Yeah.
When I meet somebody that possesses a quality that I admire, I wish to adopt and learn and grow within myself, I get closer to them.
Yeah.
I want to ask them questions. I want to get closer. I want to find out, how did you get there? Because, I don't know, that's just my way, whether that's how I was taught to be or whatnot. But so many people, I think, as you're talking about, it's just that envy, and they just get stuck in that envy. And then they just want to make your happiness wrong because they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it must be fake or achieved through some ill will, right?
Yeah, it has to all be a scam. It's got to be a scam. Happiness is a scam. It's funny. I have this is a story with one of my best friends is a psychologist, and he's hysterical. And I spend Easter and Thanksgiving at his house. And I was at his house on Thanksgiving, and I was telling him a story of this client that I was having a hard time with because she was trying to get over something. And the more I tried to show her how great it could be beyond the situation, the more angry she got. And one day she just flat out told me, I don't want to hear anything happy. I don't want to hear any of your solutions for how I can get happier. And I don't want to hear about how this situation has happened so that when I get beyond it, I will be a more grateful person. And I was telling him the story, and I said, because, he has clients and I have clients, and we talk about psychologist versus psychic and what it's like to deal with clients. And he started laughing, and he's like, oh, my God, those kind of people. And he's like, gratitude is a scam. And so now we always say that, like when we run across somebody who's really negative, we'll say gratitude is a scam. And it makes me laugh every time. But I think there are people who really believe that, happiness is a joke and gratitude is a scam. But then they complain all the time, why aren't I happy? It's like, well, you can't have both. Like you can't have light and dark in the same place. You can't have gratitude and ingratitude in the same place. You can't be happy and miserable at the same time. I mean, you can't allow polar opposites cannot exist together. So you have to make a choice. Doesn't mean that 1 minute you can't be happy and 10 minutes later you get sad about something, but they can't exist in the same space at the same time. So you have to figure out, like, well, are you choosing in this moment to be happy? And if not, if this is your moment to be sad, can you commit to yourself that maybe in a half hour you're going to choose to be happy, even if it's only for 5 minutes? Just give it a try. I'm like the happiness tour guide. Happiness, give it a try. That's my bumper sticker, Rebecca. All right, we're going to get Linda on the phone with us, and then we got some people lined up. So I just got talking because it was fun just to talk. Do we have you, Linda? Linda? Rebecca, are you here?
I'm here.
Linda, are you with us? Why can't I hear Linda? Do I show that you're both here?
Hello?
Oh, there she is. Hi, Linda. Welcome,
Can't
my
really
friend.
hear you. There we go. I got it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got my headset on. That's what's wrong.
Awesome. Say hi to Rebecca, and how may we help you?
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
This is really weird because I was thinking about this and then you guys start talking about it.
Oh, okay. Good.
Here, I'll move my phone. It's easier. Thanks to you and Alex, it made me touch something inside. I still have all the same issues, same problems, some new, but I'm happy.
Good.
For the first time in my life, I'm actually happy with me.
Good. Best news
And
ever.
it's just strange. I tried explaining it to someone, and they just looked at me like I was crazy.
Well, I think it's beautiful. It's sort of like what I was talking to our first Nicole today, caller, and she was saying something about how she felt like her spirit guides had blocked her. And I said, you know what? Spirit guides don't ever block you. The universe never blocks you. They keep that channel open all the time. If you're feeling blocked, it's because you've blocked you. And I think what happened when you called that day with my beautiful friend Alex May, who's one of my light workers and part of my spiritual family, as is Rebecca, I think what happened is that we allowed you, we gave you the permission, sweetheart, to lift that block a little bit yourself. And that was a beautiful thing. And that's we all need that. I mean, Rebecca and I talk about it all the time when we're out eating or whatever we're doing together. We've lifted blocks in our own lives, and we still have a ton of blocks to lift. I mean, if I had it all figured out, God would take me home and I wouldn't have to come back. So we're still working on it here, and it's beautiful when you actually see your own enlightenment and your own evolvement in action, and you really realize that you have the power to lift blocks and to move past things and to find a new kind of happiness that you didn't know you could have. I talk about this all the time, but here I go again, everybody, forgive me. I didn't think I was going to live a day after my mother died. I thought when my mother died, I was going to die too. And my whole life I thought that. And I would say to people that I was partnered with or my best friends, like, I don't expect me to be here after mom goes because I don't know how I'm going to live on the earth without her. Interestingly enough, this is the happiest time of my life. And every once in a while, I feel a weird sort of like, should I feel guilty that I'm so happy and mom's gone? And then she's like, no, from spirit. So then I always listen to her. So then it's no. But part of it is
she's never gone.
No, of course. And part of it's that she gave me that permission to be that happy. She put a lot of that in me when she left. But part of it is also work. I was working so hard to overcome the grief that I worked through so much of my stuff, and I really found where I belonged in all of that. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's a surprise sometimes when you realize how happy you are, right? I mean, it's wonderful. Rebecca, where were some of your surprise happiness, and how did it come?
Well, I think much like Linda was sharing that it's not so much that her problems shifted exactly as, I imagine what happened for her is that she chose to embrace them. She chose to love herself and love her life in spite of the quote unquote imperfections.
Yes.
And that's something in my life that it's kind of, no matter what comes my way, I trust in the perfection. I trust in divine perfection. I trust in like, hey, there's a lesson in this for me. There's a learning in this for me. And it may not be clear to me right now, and it may be really hard right now. And I may have a lot of emotional pain right now. But even though all of that exists, it doesn't mean that I can't also be experiencing love. Mm-hmm. And if I can offer my pain and my quote-unquote problems, my love, then, I don't, then I continue to evolve through them. I don't isolate myself from people and from the world, and I don't isolate myself from my own happiness. Because happiness, I think there's a big misperception about happiness and even about enlightenment, if we take it to that degree of happiness, that suddenly, for enlightened people, life is just graceful and nothing bad ever happens to them. But that's not true,
the
right?
Irony. The irony, Rebecca. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say that's the biggest thing for me in terms of how I approach, the less than happy moments and the less than graceful moments is that the grace is going to show itself to me. And I may not understand it for another 5 years even of why that came for me when it did and why it was so hard or why it had to be the way it did. But inevitably, at some point, I see the why. And it's the perfection of life. It's the absolute perfection.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. And I think that sometimes that's an interesting point, Rebecca, that a lot of people think that light workers or folks who, write or speak or teach that we have these really easy lives. And the truth is, in a lot of cases, we've had like a lot more shit that's happened to us because that's where the inspiration comes from for the teaching and the writing and the speaking. So it's all about what like a ton of really crazy, I don't want to say bad things. I mean, some really bad things, but just a ton of crazy, crazy things have happened to me in my life, like just weird, circumstantial, bizarre things. But I love them all and I embrace them all, even the things that were horrible and gut wrenching and the people who treated me horribly. I now embrace every one of them because there was such a lesson in all of it. Even 2 or 3 enormous lessons I learned just in the last 3 months with people. I thank them for their hideousness because I learned a lot from it and I was able to impart that wisdom over to other people. And I think that's super important. And Linda, you too, you're going to be somebody who then shares with other people the newfound enlightenment and happiness that you have found and help others to get over their blocks, sweetheart.
Yeah, well, if I've lived through what I went through, I can do anything now.
Exactly.
I'm stronger than I ever thought I was because I lived through certain things.
Yeah, it's true. I think that, and I will say this to you, and I say this to a lot of my clients. I say this actually to a lot of folks at my interfaith service when they come up and get a blessing from me, and I give them a hug. And I say this to so many of them, and it's you're so much stronger and so much more beautiful than you will ever know. And I think there is a way that we can see that in others that oftentimes we can't see that in ourselves. And I think when you start to get an inkling of that, as you have, Linda, about yourself, like, wow, I'm a lot stronger and a lot more beautiful than I suspected. I think that I'm sorry?
I have family members that won't talk to me anymore after my mom died because I just started opening up and telling people the truth, and
Good.
They didn't like it.
Yep. Good for you. Stop letting things fester. There's nothing good ever came from something festering. Festering is not a good thing. Sweetheart, I'm so happy for your enlightenment and your happiness, and I thank you so much for calling today and telling us about it. And I think it is so beautiful that you're on this journey, and I'm so proud of you. I know it's not always an easy journey, and I thank you. Geez, Rebecca, you get on the line for 5 minutes and then the gut-wrenching emotion comes. I think it's you.
What can I say? I like to swim in the deep end.
I also think where you live is haunted because we're hearing little like spirit voices, and that was not happening until I got you on the line. And that's happened before when I was on the phone with you, but I've never heard them so defined as I do today. I think you live in a very active place. I want to come there and snoop around.
Yeah, I would love that, actually. And I quite agree with you because even though I sleep very soundly here, whereas normally I'm in the habit of waking up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And doing my prayer work then, I've noticed since I moved here, I don't do that. I sleep right through the night, and yet I wake up feeling very tired still.
Yeah.
Like altered, not like tired, like my body's fatigued, just like altered, kind of like a spiritual hangover.
Yeah.
It takes me a while. It takes me like 3 cups of coffee to wake up here rather than my usual one.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
I would love for you to come visit. Maybe talk to some of these people for me.
I think the spirits like dance all around you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's a very sacred land here. It's very sacred. So it's special.
awesome.
It's special.
It's wonderful. And you love
And
that.
definitely, some of its inhabitants haven't left, which, I'm not going to ask them to. It's their home.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Yeah.
and they're kind to me. They're good to me.
I've always seen shadow people where I live. And when I got in my major accident, when I had my near-death experience, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days after I closed escrow on my house. So I had just fully moved in that Sunday, and that Monday I was driving to Orange County to work, and that was when the accident happened. So it was a new place, and then suddenly I had gone home and come back, and then I had a new head. And my brain was working in a different way as it was remapping around where the injury was. And I started seeing shadow figures out of the corners of my eyes. And, I called the doctor and I was freaked out. And the doctor's like, oh, we have you on a lot of medication. Well, that was true. They did. But I didn't stay on the medication long. And I'm not on any medication now and haven't been for decades. Yet I still see them. And I always see them in the same place, right around my pool area. I know that where I live was apartments before. Interestingly enough, one day through happenstance, I discovered that my dermatologist, who's in Huntington Beach, his father owned the apartments where my place was before they were leveled and became my place, sold them to the builder who built my place. So I know it wasn't something like, a cathedral or a graveyard, but it is such an active place with these interdimensional shadow people. And I only see them in like one place. I see two different kinds. I see really, really tall, like 14-foot black shadow people that you see out of the corners of your eyes. And then I see these little things that are maybe 3 or 4 feet tall that are like wispy little black things that'll wisp around the trash can or shoot by the jacuzzi when I'm there. I never see them anywhere else. One time I was packing up my ex's SUV to take a bunch of presents and stuff down to go down to my mom's. I was going down with two of my exes. I know, taking 2 of my exes to my mom's for Christmas. One was not an ex at the time. And packing up these presents, and all of a sudden the garage, the gate opened on its own, the gate to go out, because I live by the back gate. The gate opened on its own, and then something just shoved me from behind right into the SUV. And I turned around and there was nothing there. That has never happened again, only that one time. But at night when I park, and I have external parking space because, my garage has stuff in it, and I walk past the pool at night, every once in a while, depending on the time of night, I can feel those things. And I feel them a lot when I swim at night, when I'm in the jacuzzi at night. So who knows why in the middle of the city, right, in this townhome complex, suddenly there would be activity. I mean, who knows why? But I guess I'm just not allowed to ever live any place that isn't haunted. I don't ever have it in my house. I did when I lived with somebody once who I think brought a lot of weird stuff in. There would be a lot of stuff. But when I first moved in to my place, I'd been there maybe I guess I'd been there the better part of a year, because I moved in March and I adopted my cat in December, and I already had her. And I was standing by the entrance to my bathroom that's attached to my bedroom. And all of a sudden, this little thing about 2 feet high bolted past me, ran over to the far end of my bathroom where the tub is, and just disappeared. And I looked over, and the cat was looking in that direction like, what the hell was that? And then the cat looked at me like, did that thing come with you? And I'm like, I don't know. Did it come in with you? And that was it. Never saw it again. So there is some, isn't that strange how you can have activity in the strangest places where you never thought there would be activity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe it's just me.
I'm not sure that there is any place that isn't haunted.
I agree. But it's the degrees, right?
I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing. I just think that there are elementals, allies, spirits, disembodied energies everywhere. And some are just like humans. Some are super kind and friendly and helpful, and some not so much. Some are mischievous. Some are hungry, and some have less than good intentions.
It's true. It's true. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're getting Cara on the line. Hang on. I think we can talk through this, and it's been a long time since I've done this with somebody on the phone and then bringing people in. I think they just pop in. You don't get the Skype dance song. The blue, blue, blue. Hi. Hi, who's this?
This is Cara. How are you guys?
Hey, Cara, how are you? Okay, good. We did get Cara on. Perfect. Can you?
So I have a paranormal question.
Sure. Can you get closer to your phone, sweetie? You sound super far away.
Oh, yeah. Hello?
Oh, that's better. You sounded like you
Better?
were calling
Okay.
us from inside a giant catacomb.
Okay. Sorry, I was in the bathroom changing. I'm still at the hospital. But
yeah, sure.
anyways, my question is, on Friday last week, I stayed at my aunt's house, and it's in Fresno County in California, and she lives out in the country. And she's been telling me that she's been having some crazy activity going on at her house. And I was like, okay. And so she told me that she got in bed one time, and she was laying in her bed, and she felt like something get in bed with her and hug her. And she said she reached around behind her, and she could feel the hair on the chest of whatever was in bed with her. And it's done this a couple times, and she's a sensitive like me, and like even my great grandmother was a sensitive, and I didn't even know this until I came out as being empathic, like, to people, instead of keeping it to myself, like about 9 months ago. Okay. And so now that we both know that we share this gift, we talk with one another about things that, have happened to us and whatnot. And she was telling me, since I'm here in Fresno, I've been staying with her, every so often because my kid's in the hospital. So she told me that lately this, whatever it is, has been getting in bed with her. And, she felt the hair on the chest. And one day it got in bed with her, and it was above her, and it held her shoulders down and shook her. And she just started laughing because she didn't know what this was, or you know what I mean? She just said it was a black tall shadow, and you could see the outline, but no like definition of a human or anything, like that it was a person. Okay. And then on Friday, when I stayed the night at her house, I fell asleep there, and I said my prayer before I went to bed, and then I was in bed with my daughter, and I woke up probably around 1:15, 2 in the morning, and I seen a spirit of a girl standing above us on the right of me and my daughter. And I was like, holy crap, because I haven't seen a solid spirit in a long time. It's been years since I've seen an actual whole silhouette of a spirit. Okay. And it was just a young girl, like maybe, I don't know, 18, something like that. And then I didn't get up and go running and tell her, because she's sleeping and her husband's sleeping. But in the morning, I was like, you know what? I've seen the spirit of a girl, standing next to Gabby and me, and it just kind of freaked me out. And I just rolled over and went back to bed. You know what I mean? I was like, not today. You know what I mean? So I was just kind of wondering what's going on in her house. Is it someone that we know that's hugging her because her son has passed? And my nephew's also passed too, which is her grandson. So I just didn't know if it was someone that we knew that was hugging on her or what.
I think I'm going to grab this real quick, Rebecca. I think there are two things. I think it's two separate things. And then we'll find out if Rebecca thinks the same thing. I think that there is whoever's getting into bed and hugging her with the chest hair. Originally, when you said that, I was going to say that's somebody she knows.
Okay.
But the thing that's holding her down and becoming like poltergeisty, that is something else that's trying to make her think that's the same spirit of someone she knows. So she needs to be careful, because sometimes certain energies can be like trickster energies.
Yes, I told her that. I said sometimes they kind of disguise themselves as someone to get in. Like,
right, they try to make you think.
She told me that she was like, God, take this away, please. I don't want another man in my bed. You know what I mean? Because she's married, and she just felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be uncomfortable, but then I think there's also a trickster spirit there that does mean to be uncomfortable. And the holding down and the shoulders and the shaking and everything, that's not anything a past loved one would do unless there was something in your life that you really need to be shook to wake up about. But it wouldn't be done like that, and it wouldn't be done in bed. So
she always sees it in bed. Like, it's when she's going to bed. It's in her room. I mean, she calls me all the time and tells me, Mija, I've seen, these lights in the room, and I went to pass my hand through it, and, I could just see him right there, and, and then she tells me that she's seen, I think she has a portal.
I was just going to say,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Just going to say she has a portal in that room, and different things are coming through. And
that's what I thought.
The portal. The portal is in her closet door, where her closet door is.
Oh, yeah, it's open right there. She told me that she seen this couple just standing there by her fireplace. She has one of those fireplaces that are fake,
Yeah.
against the wall. And she said it started glowing a different color, and that she seen squiggly lines on the wall, like weird lines. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I just knew that I felt like she had a portal and things were coming through. And I said, with all this earthquake activity that's going on, I was figuring that it's opening the portal, or, but I could be wrong. That's just what I felt.
No, she has a portal, and it's in her bedroom. It's by where the closet is. And oftentimes portals are where openings are. They're in doorways. They're in doors to closets. They're in bathroom doorways. I don't know why that is, but it is. And definitely there are different things coming through. And some of them, like the couple, are just observers that come in and then leave. Some of them are the past loved ones are coming and hanging around and giving hugs and being lovely. But then there's also an uncomfortable thing that's trying to act like, oh, look, I'm your dead loved one. And it's not. It's tricky, and it's a trickster, and it's icky, and its energy is very sludgy feeling. So she said that lately, that, after that one time, like she said, when she told God to take it away, that thing has never came and held her down again. Good.
But something is still getting in bed with her and hugging her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think the hugging thing is weird. I think it's just something that's sad. Did one of her loved ones pass under like a super sad conditions? Too young, tragic. I mean, was that her son passed, you said?
Yeah, her son. I mean, he was in his 20s, but yeah, he passed from a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And he died of pneumonia, so he that's how my cousin passed. And then my other little cousin.
No, it's him.
Passed.
It's your cousin that passed in his 20s. The little one wouldn't have chest hair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she needs to...
yeah, the little one was in a car accident and they hit a brick wall.
No, it's the older one. It's her son. She needs to tell him to protect her, that if he's going to come and hug her, it's okay, but he needs to protect her from other things that come through that portal. Because when he comes through...
Is there any way she can close that?
She can, but if she closes it, she's going to close him off. Is she okay with that? I mean, she totally...
Probably not.
She totally can. And she can also protect herself. She can use protection prayers. She can put crystals down.
I gave her a crystal.
She can use, salt and holy water and all kinds of things in that doorway. I would do the doorway up with salt. I would do the doorway with holy water. Just do some intentions every night and say, before I go to bed every night, say, anyone who's on the other side of this porthole, I'm asking God to keep them on the other side of the porthole because I need to sleep. And do it every night. Do a little prayer every night. Rebecca, you live in a haunted place, as we just discussed. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, so, everything is a choice, and certainly she's not obligated to keep this portal open. And yet, she can make a choice and set some intentions around that portal for only beings of light and love to come through that have healing energy to share in the space, or if, it could be that she has some sort of soul agreement, like I do, to help souls transition.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really important.
That's very true.
And
she's she takes care of people that pass, like, She's taking care of my grandma. She takes care of other people. She actually lives in a house where she was taking care of the woman that owned the land and the property, and she passed on, and she actually lives in her house now. And her name was Miss Eileen. And so that's how she got her house, is because she took care of the people. She pays for it. It's not her property, but after she passed on from taking care of the woman, she got to live in her house, and because she was basically living there before. But she is the caretaker of people that are older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is part of her work as a healer, as a light worker on the planet, and so it's important for her to continue to honor that. I mean, of course, she can always choose to not play that role anymore if she doesn't want to. And yet I suspect that it's a big part of her heart's calling and what makes her heart sing. And it just needs a little more understanding and a little more refinement, that she gets to, kind of like what Sheena was saying, like, hey, guys, I need to sleep tonight. I need a break. I need a break tonight. And she can set that intention and have that restful sleep and take that break tonight. And then she can open herself to be available again. And definitely, to make that intention of whom she's available to, just like we do with our inform, our embodied clients, we make a choice, right, to work with people who actually want to be healed, right? So when we're working with souls that are in need of transition, we want to make sure that they actually want to transition. And, if they don't want to transition, then it's not that we can't still help them transition. We can help them get there. And yet, is that who we really want to work with? Is that where we want to spend our energy and open ourselves as a portal? So, I think that there's some refinement for her to do in terms of her soul agreement and her work here. And she can make a choice of who she wants to work with, when she wants to work, when she's available and when she's not. She needs to set her office hours, so to speak. And in regards to the son that died of a gunshot wound and pneumonia.
He did have pneumonia.
Yeah, I really, there's a lot of grief there in him. And there's a kind of an unfinished conversation that needs to be had between the two of them. And when that's completed, then he'll be ready to transition. And it's important that he does. It's time. He does have more to do. His soul has more to do. He's not meant to stay here as an ally. He really isn't.
Yeah, he's been here for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
He's been gone for the past 10 years.
Yeah. So that piece, he's seeking that from his mother. He's seeking that safety. He's afraid. He doesn't understand where he is exactly, and he doesn't want to leave Mommy. And it's important that Mommy kind of has that conversation with him and, helps him feel comfortable and safe in transitioning. But there is something that she has to tell him. There's something that was unsaid, something that he didn't quite learn or understand in his lifetime, and that really scared him during his death process, about death and about the world and that kind of disconnect. And that's what he needs from her. She'll know what it is when she searches her heart. She'll know what it is, but he does need to transition.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You guys are amazing.
I mean, even after he transitions, he'll still be able to come back and visit. It's not like he's gone forever. Maybe tell her that. Like, look, even transition spirits can come back and visit. Like, my mom is transitioned, and she's chattering at me all the time. So, it's not like he's gone forever once he transitions. Some people think that, like in the movies, there's a transition and then someone fades away and you never hear from them again. It's often not like that. It can be like that, but if they want to go away or if they decide to reincarnate right away, but usually it's not like that.
Do you know what the spirit of the girl was? Because I didn't recognize the girl at all. I didn't know that person.
I think the girl is just somebody who is there from another time. There's a lot of stuff there coming in and out of that portal.
That's what I thought, because I didn't recognize the girl, and it was just, it was awkward because I haven't seen a spirit in full form like that since I was young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's just an
So
act of
it
play.
kind of shocked me because I wasn't expecting to see it. And when I seen it, I was like, whoa, oh my gosh.
And
know
you're
what I mean?
also
Almost woke my
super
8-year-old up,
open
but-
right now, honey, with everything going on with you and everything going on with your son. You're super open right
Yeah.
now. And so you're exposed to a lot of things that you haven't been before. So just make sure to tell her to take care of herself. I always stress that in a situation where you've got a portal in your house or you're dealing with something, and you take care of you, because you, Cara, are in a super vulnerable time right now. So you want to make sure you take care of yourself too. We love you. Thanks for the call. We appreciate you. And we're about to get somebody else on right now. So yeah, boy, Rebecca, you show up and suddenly everybody's here wanting to get on. Everybody wants a little Rebecca.
Great.
So we're gonna get Sheena on with us now, and I actually like. It's funny because when you're here, then Skype silently brings people up, and I don't have to worry about the boo 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 meow 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 Skype dance. And I don't want people to hear the Skype song, because then it will be stuck in your head forever, as it's stuck forever in my head. It's like watching The Ring from the Ring movie.
Haunted by the Skype song.
Exactly. I can't get out of. People have been known to go crazy because they can't stop singing the Skype song in their head. All right, we've got Sheena. Are you with us?
Hi there.
Hey, welcome,
You've
my
reached
friend.
818-357-4686.
Oh, that's somebody's voicemail. That's the voicemail. That's not good. All right, then we got to send the text and say, hey, how come we got the voicemail? The only thing about when you have somebody else on is it's a little harder. It's a tricky move to remove it from the call, because it doesn't, you click on it, it doesn't want to go. Okay, so, she said try again. Okay, so let's try this one more time. You got to turn your phones off on people so I can call you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time is flying right by, isn't it? We're almost done here. This is
Really?
the quickest hour. Yeah, we've only got 12 more minutes to go. But then we're back tonight with Shameless Feminine Speaks at 7:00, right, Rebecca? Rebecca's got to get in her covered wagon, come 375 miles to get here from where she lives in the Old West vortex of Los Angeles. Sheena, how are you, my friend? Welcome.
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Sheena, Rebecca, everybody.
We're fantastic. What's on your mind, my friend?
So much, but I'm going to try and narrow it down to the topic at hand.
Okay.
Lots going on recently. Let me turn down my volume here. Hang on a sec. A lot is going on in my life personally.
Okay.
Near-death experiences. I think higher self-union, etc. I've been having some communication with, I believe, some guides, some spiritual guides, possibly ancestors, and I would hope that maybe you could give me some clarity on whom I'm communicating with.
Okay. What makes you think? Because guides and ancestors can be different things, are not always different things. So what makes you think that that's who you're communicating with?
Well, that's the question at hand. I'm not sure who may be coming in. I'm not sure if it's a past family member or if it's my spirit guide. I want to say specifically maybe both, but it's hard to differentiate. So I'm trying to find some clarity in that.
It definitely feels ancestral to me. Now, it doesn't feel like an ancestral spirit guide. It just feels ancestral, what I like to call a guiding spirit. So somebody that, to me, the difference in an ancestral spirit guide and a guiding spirit is an ancestral spirit guide is somebody who maybe is like however many generations back. A guiding spirit is somebody that you were on the earth with at some time who has now passed. So what is going on with you source is asking that this person is coming back to communicate with you, because you're in a bit of a transitionary time right now, right?
Yes, indeed. And I will try not to cry and keep this short. Something big is happening in my life. I really don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think definitely it started before the full moon in Scorpio that we had back in May.
Right. It was a
Because
killer.
that was the day I miraculously quit smoking after 20-something years.
Beautiful.
I believe I had some kind of crown chakra opening and some kind of higher spirit union. Whether it be with self or something. So, and it all kind of started last year, a year ago, with a near-death experience after an operation. So, leading up to the present moment, what's happening now is, this is happening. Family relationships, friend relationships are changing, dropping off. Like I said, I quit smoking. I'm having these epiphanies, these aha moments, so to speak. And the guides are coming in, and maybe it's me that's being fuzzy and making things unclear. I just can't differentiate between, I don't know, Sheena.
But it's totally normal.
The confusion.
It's totally normal to not be able to differentiate between what's a past loved one and what's an ancestral spirit guide and what's a spirit guide of in a form of never having been embodied as a human. I mean, if we could figure all this stuff out right away, we wouldn't still need to be here. We don't have the 360 knowledge as incarnate humans that other beings in the universe have. So first of all, don't beat yourself up and don't give yourself a hard time. It's perfectly normal. Were you very close to one of your grandmothers?
I was close to both of them, really. I spent a lot of time with both of them as a younger person.
This one sort of considers herself like almost another mother. Were you closer to one than the other? This is definitely a very intense female spirit, and it's very motherly. But she's saying, "I'm not your mother," so I'm thinking it's a grandmother.
No, it's my sister.
Okay, all right.
Older, to be my sister.
But older?
My oldest sister.
Okay,
yes, she's
all
the
right.
oldest.
Okay. And like a second mother to you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is some of the signs I've been getting have been pointing to her.
There you go.
And but then other signs have been coming in saying this is ancestral karma that needs to be corrected, and you're this and you're this. So I'm trying to figure out, well, they got me spinning so much, I don't know which direction to go in. So who do I listen to?
No,
Who's in charge up there?
It's not, I know, right? Where's the big guy? Let me talk to the big guy. It's not.
I got my puppy all excited right now.
It's not ancestral karma that needs to be corrected so much as your sister wants to make sure that you don't make mistakes that she made. She's trying to make sure that you have an easier time of it than she had by being a guide for you that she didn't have that kind of a guide. Do you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing that you're talking about, but it makes it seem less like you've done something wrong and you need to correct this. It's not ancestral karma so much. This is going to sound terrible, and everybody's going to turn off their radios now. I don't even know that I believe in ancestral karma. I don't know this idea that I believe that things are passed down through a family line and you have to make up for what somebody did 8 generations ago. I honestly, this is actually Sheena Metals saying there's something spiritual she's not sure she believes in. I don't know that I believe in that. I believe in karma. I believe in your karma. I believe in ancestral karma in the sense that there are things from other lives that you're always trying to fix in future lives. But I don't know that you're necessarily responsible for like what your great uncle did 400 years ago. Does that make sense? Because I think that family is an incarnate, our idea of blood family here is an incarnate concept. your soul family, the people that your soul is related to, those are not often the people that your blood related to here. The idea of being biologically related is an earthly concept. That's not a concept of spirit. So, but I definitely think your sister wants you to have an easier time than she had, and be gentler with yourself than she was with her. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And she's trying to guide you so that the rest of your time here is more carefree than hers was, less angst driven. Does that make sense? So that you just give yourself more of a break than she did, because, like I said, she didn't have somebody like her to guide her. Rebecca, what are you making of this, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really with you, Sheena. This is a guiding force for you, and I fully agree. It's really important that you don't take on more than what is yours, and that you recognize that this is a time for you to receive. That's what I keep hearing. Just receive. Just receive. It's not about who's in charge. You're in charge. But this is a time for you to receive, to fill up, to take the wisdom, to take the lessons with ease and with grace, and then to take the next step. It's kind of like I keep hearing this, like, just take a breath, hit the pause button, and be here in this space of receiving, and you'll know when the time is to act. That's been part of the struggle. Has been that feeling like you owe an action, like you owe an answer, and you don't owe an answer right now. It's a time of receiving and developing for yourself, and then you'll take a step forward. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
It's
all on point.
It's your time to be in tutelage, sweetheart. It's your apprenticeship time. And your sister is a wonderful person to help you with that. Because she was that way in life, right? She was kind of the one you went to with a lot of stuff.
She was the go-to person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And what I want to add to that is, like, yes, she's your ally. And this is why the pause button, because it's so important that this next step that you take really comes from you. You know what I mean? Like, receive everything that she's giving you and that your ancestors are showing you. Receive all of it. And then, then you put on your own big girl pants, right? And you make the choice, because this is your life. And there is something in that energy with your sister that it's not so much unclean on her end. It's more that place of you, of that reliance on the other. And again, there's nothing wrong. We all need allies, and we all need mirrors to look into to see ourselves more clearly. But this is part of your learning, and part of your growth is to own this next step 100%. No matter what they share with you, it's about developing your own point of view. Okay?
Understood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And with that, sweetheart, we are out of time. Thank you so much for the call. We love you. And take care of you. Be kind to you, Shauna. That's the most important thing. During a transition, it's so important that you be kind to you. I cannot even tell you how important that is. Rebecca, my friend, thank you for being here. Guess what happens in 5 hours? Shameless Feminine Speaks. Right here on LA Talk Radio.
That's right.
Are you getting excited? If you leave now with traffic, you could probably be here in 5 hours. So get in the car and go.
Well, then I might be late, because I ain't leaving now.
It's crazy because in miles, you don't live that far away, but it's the hardest place to get in or out of.
It can be, for sure.
To get in this direction. I admire you for getting in your big combat vehicle and coming here every Tuesday night. So what's our episode? Is it called Sorry Not Sorry?
That's right. Sorry Not Sorry, turning our disempowered sorries into our superpower.
I'm going to be Shameless Sheena.
We're going to be exploring the whys of our sorries, and the Y, the letter Y, standing for the yield. What's the gain, and what are we yielding to? And today I just made a post about the superpower of surrender.
You're beautiful.
And that's certainly an aspect of the evolved, the empowered sorry.
You are beautiful,
yeah,
my
we're
friend.
going to evolve it all the way through. So it's going to be a great show.
I'm honored to be hosting this show with you, and I'm honored to have you here today on Haunted Playground. And I'm just honored to know you, and I love you. Thank you, my friend. Rebecca Haywood, everybody, isn't she terrific? All right, so if you're looking for me to book a private reading or to get on a future show on the air or to find out when I broadcast live from my bed, when you can crawl into bed with me, literally, or to order some vibrations crystals or know when my next Saturday Night Spiritual.com is, or to find out about my great web series, wearelivingwiththedead.com and wearealtered.com. Just go to IamRaisingYourVibration.com, SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. Those are my spiritual sites. Also my nonprofit movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity, raisingthevibration.org, and IamRaisingTheVibration.com. You can email me, Sheena at IamRaisingYourVibration.com, or you can text me for info, 818-437-0886. I'm Sheena Metal. This is Haunted Playground. Until we see you next time, you know what happens here. Every Tuesday from 12 noon to 2 p.m., psychic readings, spiritual healing, spiritual counseling, paranormal questions, spiritual questions, psychic, spiritual, spooky, scary. We love you. Raise the vibration. We'll see you next time.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.